The compassionate team at Siskin Hospital for Physical Rehabilitation has spent the past 35 years caring for its patients and their family members, providing hope and encouragement during traumatic and life-altering situations. On a December day in 2023, Joel Rogers was gearing up for one of his favorite days of the year, the Salvation Army's Angel Tree distribution. He worked full-time for the Cleveland Salvation Army, was a youth and young adult minister, and an active husband to his wife Cheryl and father to his 11-year-old daughter Eden. Joel was accustomed to operating on depleted energy, but that day, something was different.
We start doing distribution, and about an hour and a half in, it's about 10:30, I feel kind of tired. I didn't get great sleep the night before, so I was like, that's probably what it was.
Joel decided to go outside to his car for a 15-minute cat nap and quickly realized what he was feeling was more than just being tired. He texted Cheryl for help.
And I start to feel excruciating pain in my lower back. And it is so painful that it's making it hard for me to catch my breath. She gets to the car and I try and explain to her what I'm feeling and just basically say, go to the hospital. Like, let's get to the hospital.
At the emergency room, doctors immediately began trying to figure out what was wrong.
And they did a full chest x-ray, and they didn't spot anything glaring except for a cloud, a fluid cloud just behind my heart. And he basically said it could mean absolutely nothing or it could be very, very serious.
A nurse pulled Cheryl aside to explain the severity of Joel's condition.
She basically said things are going to move very, very fast, and you need to calmly go in and kiss your husband goodbye, and potentially prepare for the worst. He was icy cold when I gave him that last kiss, and I didn't know if I was going to see him alive again.
They put me out before they airlifted me, and I didn't wake up again for 22 days.
He coded the first time while in the air on his way to CHI Memorial Hospital in Chattanooga. He was immediately rushed into the hands of a waiting team, including Dr. John Craig, a cardiothoracic surgeon.
So he was actually set to leave, like to be done for the day. Dr. Craig had heard the call come from the helicopter, and the symptoms, he said, sounded like it could be an aortic dissection.
Joel coded 3 more times during the 10-hour life-saving surgery.
The first time I saw him, I obviously cried. He was hooked up to a wall of probably 30 different IVs. There were tubes going in and out of him.
Doctors kept Joel in an induced coma for almost 2 weeks to give his body time to recover. He had complications and infections, and Joel's medical team began to prepare him for the very real possibility he'd lose both legs from the knee down.
I couldn't feel anything. I had no response in my feet, no response in my legs to any kind of stimuli.
Next, Joel's kidneys went into total failure. And having spent more than 6 weeks in the ICU, he began to develop what they call ICU psychosis, where time and reality are blurred.
Got to a place where I was just like, God, why would you keep me alive? To just be in this spot. Not functioning, nothing's working, everything's crashing. Why am I alive just to not be alive? And so finally I just was like, God, I can't do this. I give up.
The very next morning, he turned a corner. His blood work showed significant improvement in kidney function and continued to progress with each test.
And so within a 48-hour span, every block that was preventing me from moving on to rehabilitation was just dissolved. Then I started the incredible process of recovery at Siskin.
Joel was transferred to Siskin Hospital later that night. For Joel and Cheryl, this transition felt like starting a new chapter and brought hope and encouragement. But he still had a very long way to go.
My occupational therapist came in and they were talking to me about like what that would look like. And I was excited to learn how to do basic things again. And then my physical therapist came in, Jonathan, and I had no idea what he would be able to do with me.
When Joel first got here, he was, very, very weak. Couldn't sit up in the bed on his own. We weren't even standing. We're using a Hoyer lift. He was just very weak and deconditioned from his injury.
He wanted to be fully independent again. So it was just Joel being Joel, getting back to work, being a dad. He loves outdoors. And so it was really big goals, lofty goals, which he worked at every day.
So every day was a surprise. It was, no, we're going to do this and this and that. And sometimes it would be 2 or 3 team members trying to hold me up to help me in the parallel bars, or, it was something like that. Those first few weeks were pretty crazy.
Joel had to work tirelessly to regain his ability to walk. He also began the slow process of being able to swallow safely.
Our first goal was just getting as many swallows as we could. When I came, we would do ice, and at the beginning it was just like trying 5 ice chips and trying to get a full swallow.
It was rough, not for Sarah as much. It was rough for me because I didn't see any progress.
Slowly, Joel's ability to swallow continued to improve, so much so that Sarah conducted one final assessment before clearing him for his first meal in 100 days.
She's behind the wall leading the test and was stone-faced. Absolute, like she was locked down.
And then when we finished, I looked at him and I said, "Are you ready to eat lunch today?"
As a food lover, Joel had a special request for his first meal from outside the hospital, a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit.
Luckily, I pass Chick-fil-A on my way to work every day.
Jonathan showed up early for his shift. We sat in there and had chicken biscuits together and then went on with our day.
Joel's incredible story began to spread across Siskin Hospital. People began seeking him out to hear about the miracle man in room 305. Joel found a way to connect with each Siskin Hospital associate he encountered.
Before everything happened, I was in full-time ministry in a nonprofit serving youth in the community, which I love it. And then December 13th happened and everything just ground to a halt in my life and just paused. So that shift at Siskin, not just physically, but that shift even in attitude and in like people seeking me out to hear my story was so affirming for me because I was getting to do again what I love to do.
One of the things I remember the most is he would ask me how my day is, how my day was going. And to me, that's someone with some character and some soul.
Word had kind of spread about my ridiculously wild medical journey, and I had people praying for me that I'd never met around the world. And they started sending cards and notes saying, "Hey, you don't know me, but I'm a friend of so-and-so, and we're praying here in Michigan for you," or "We're praying in Florida," or "We're praying in Cambodia and in Thailand and in the UK.
As Joel spent more time at Siskin Hospital, he began to see significant improvement each day, gaining more strength, mobility, and balance. During his last weeks of inpatient therapy, he had one goal: to walk out of Siskin Hospital.
We just worked as much as we could to get him to where he could walk out of here pretty much by himself without hands on him. So it was pretty awesome to see.
I want to kind of regain the power of my story. When that day hit and I got to, put my braces on and had the wheelchair take me to the door, but then I got to stand up and I got to use my walker and walk out. Yeah.
To get to watch him walk out, but be able to walk with him and walk beside him and walk out together, just felt like a huge moment.
Yeah. That had been half a year in the making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of the most rewarding things about working in this area, is to see tangibly right in front of your face our patients progress and be able to, they come in here and they can't even stand on their own, to be able to walk out of the building.
It's folks like Joel that make it fun, make it very enjoyable, entertaining, and kind of push me to be a better therapist, challenging him in different ways.
Next, Joel transitioned to outpatient therapy at Siskin's Cleveland Clinic, making progress by leaps and bounds.
How quickly I went from teetering on a walker to walking confidently for long periods of time on a walker to moving to a cane with an assistant, and now I'm just on a cane. And
now, a year later, Joel is back to living his best life. He credits much of his success to the encouragement from his team at Siskin Hospital, pushing him farther than he ever dreamed.
Again, I mean, it's a kind of the Siskin brand, right? They're going to push and push and push to see your best come out. And I am so, so thankful. They all had my best in mind, even when I didn't know what my best could be. And that was life-changing.
I'll forever be grateful. I got my husband back. Yeah.
And she likes me okay.
I'll keep you around for a while.